Welcome back to the channel BBC Coin. What if I told you that a simple 1959 Liberty 1-cent coin, especially the 1959D or even one with no mint mark, could be hiding a surprising value, sometimes even reaching over $1,200? Yes, that tiny copper coin you might ignore could actually be a hidden treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story, history, and value of the 1959 Lincoln Memorial Penny, one of the most iconic coins in United States history. Let's go back to the year 1959. This wasn't just any ordinary year for coins. It marked a major transformation in American currency. For the first time in 50 years, the design of the penny changed. The famous wheat ears on the back? Gone. In their place appeared the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful symbol of American history and respect for President Abraham Lincoln. This made the 1959 coin incredibly special. It was the first year of the Lincoln Memorial design, making it a historic transition coin. Now let's talk about what makes this coin so interesting. There are two main types you should know: the 1959D penny, which was minted in Denver, and the 1959 penny with no mint mark, which was made in Philadelphia. Here's something important: if your coin has a small d under the date, it means it was made in Denver. If there is no mint mark at all, that means it came from Philadelphia. And believe it or not, both types can be valuable, depending on condition, rarity, and possible errors. Now, you might be wondering, how can a 1-cent coin be worth hundreds or even $1,200? Great question. The truth is, most 1959 pennies are actually very common. Millions, even billions, were produced. In fact, over 1.2 billion coins were minted in Denver alone. So yes, most of these coins are only worth a few cents today. A typical circulated 1959 penny might be worth around 3 cents to $0.20. That's basically its copper value. But here's where things get exciting: not all coins are equal. Some rare versions of the 1959 penny can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And that's where collectors get interested. Let's break down the key factors that can turn your simple coin into a valuable one. First, condition. Coins that look brand new, shiny, and untouched are called uncirculated. These are much more valuable. A high-grade uncirculated 1959 penny with full red color can sell for $15 to $250 or more, and in extreme cases, top-quality coins have reached thousands at auction. Second, color. Copper coins change color over time. Collectors prefer coins that still have their original bright red shine. These are called red coins. The more red your coin has, the more valuable it becomes. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1976 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark. A coin that millions of people have ignored, but a few lucky collectors have turned into serious money. And here's the shocking part: some people believe this coin can be worth over $1,200 or even more. But is that really true? Let's uncover the truth, the hype, and the hidden secrets behind this mysterious coin. First, let's understand what makes the 1976 penny so special. The year 1976 was a historic moment for the United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of American independence, the bicentennial year. While coins like quarters and half dollars got special designs, the humble penny stayed the same. But don't let that fool you. This coin still carries incredible historical importance. On the front, you'll see the iconic face of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall, a symbol of strength, unity, and legacy. And if your coin has no mint mark, that means it was produced in Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most important mints in the United States. Now here's where things get interesting. Over 4.6 billion of these no mint mark pennies were made in 1976. Yes, billions. Which means, at first glance, this coin is extremely common. In fact, most of these coins are only worth about 1 cent to a few cents in circulation. So how can something so common suddenly be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars? The answer lies in three powerful words: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's talk about condition first. Coin collectors use a grading system that goes from worn-out coins to perfect mint condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A typical 1976 penny in average condition is nearly worthless. But if you find one in near-perfect condition, with a bright red shine, sharp details, and no scratches, its value can jump significantly. Some high-grade versions have sold for hundreds of dollars, especially those graded at MS67 or higher. Now let's move to rarity. Even though billions were made, very few survive in perfect condition today. Think about it. These coins have been used for decades, dropped, scratched, worn down, and damaged. Finding one that looks like it was just minted yesterday, that's extremely rare, and rarity creates demand. But the real jackpot comes from something even more exciting: minting errors. Yes, mistakes. Coins that were struck incorrectly during production can become incredibly valuable. And the 1976 penny has several known error types that collectors are actively searching for. Let's go through some of them. First, the double die error. This happens when the design is stamped twice, slightly misaligned. You might notice doubling in the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust. These coins can sell for anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on their condition. Next, the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where the design is not properly centered. Part of it looks missing. These unique-looking coins can easily fetch $100 or more. Then we have the clipped planchet error. This is when a piece of the coin is literally missing, like someone took a bite out of it. Collectors love these unusual shapes, and they can sell for decent prices. And finally, the famous BIE error. A small crack appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, forming what looks like an extra I. It's a tiny detail, but collectors notice everything. Now, here's the big question: can a 1976 no-mint mark penny really be worth $1,200? The honest answer is yes, but only under very specific conditions. A normal circulated coin? No chance. But if you have a flawless, high-grade coin, with full red luster, possibly combined with a rare error, then yes, it could reach hundreds or even approach the $1,000 range in rare auction situations. But here's something you need to be careful about. There is a lot of hype online. Some sellers list ordinary pennies for thousands of dollars, hoping to attract buyers who don't know the real value. Even experts warn that most of these coins are not rare at all and are often overpriced. So how can you tell if your coin is valuable? Here's a quick checklist. Look at the color. Is it bright red or dull brown? Check for errors. Any unusual shapes or double text? Examine the details. Are they sharp or worn out? And most importantly, consider getting it graded by professionals. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade. That grade can dramatically impact its value. Now imagine this. You're going through your old coins. You find a 1976 penny, no mint mark. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1977 United States Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. A coin that most people ignore, but collectors are desperately searching for. So before you skip this video, take a moment, check your pockets, your drawers, your old jars. Because what you're about to discover might completely change the way you look at coins forever. Let's begin. Back in 1977, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. In fact, nearly 4.5 billion coins were minted in Philadelphia alone, and these coins had no mint mark at all. Now here's something interesting. Most people think that if a coin has no mint mark, it must be rare. But that's not always true. In 1977, coins without a mint mark were actually very common because they were produced in Philadelphia, and at that time, Philadelphia coins typically did not carry a mint mark. So what makes this coin so special? Why are some of these coins selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars? The answer lies in something collectors call condition and errors. Let's break it down. First, the condition. A normal 1977 penny that has been used in daily life, scratched, worn, faded, is usually worth only a few cents. In fact, most circulated coins are valued between 1 cent and maybe 10 cents. But when you find a coin that looks almost brand new, shiny, sharp details, no scratches. That's where things get interesting. Coins in what collectors call mint state condition can sell for much higher prices. Some high-grade 1977 pennies have been valued at over $100, and even more depending on rarity. And here's where it gets exciting. In extremely rare cases, top-quality coins, graded at the highest levels like MS-67 or MS-68, have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions. Now imagine this: a tiny copper coin, worth just 1 cent, suddenly becoming worth $1,000 or more, just because of its condition. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1977 United States Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. A coin that most people ignore, but collectors are desperately searching for. So before you skip this video, take a moment, check your pockets, your drawers, your old jars, because what you're about to discover might completely change the way you look at coins forever. Let's begin. Back in 1977, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. In fact, nearly 4.5 billion coins were minted in Philadelphia alone, and these coins had no mint mark at all. Now here's something interesting. Most people think that if a coin has no mint mark, it must be rare. But that's not always true. In 1977, coins without a mint mark were actually very common because they were produced in Philadelphia, and at that time, Philadelphia coins typically did not carry a mint mark. So what makes this coin so special? Why are some of these coins selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars? The answer lies in something collectors call condition and errors. Let's break it down. First, the condition. A normal 1977 penny that has been used in daily life, scratched, worn, faded, is usually worth only a few cents. In fact, most circulated coins are valued between 1 cent and maybe 10 cents. But when you find a coin that looks almost brand new, shiny, sharp details, no scratches, that's where things get interesting. Coins in what collectors call mint state condition can sell for much higher prices. Some high-grade 1977 pennies have been valued at over $100, and even more depending on rarity. And here's where it gets exciting. In extremely rare cases, top-quality coins, graded at the highest levels like MS-67 or MS-68, have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions. Now imagine this: a tiny copper coin, worth just 1 cent, suddenly becoming worth $1,000 or more, just because of its condition. That's the magic of coin collecting. But condition is only part of the story. Now let's talk about errors. Error coins are like mistakes made during the minting process. These mistakes make the coin unique, and uniqueness means value. Some 1977 pennies have doubling in the letters, others may have unusual surfaces, and a few extremely rare pieces were struck on the wrong type of metal. These are the coins that collectors fight over, because in the world of coins, rarity equals power, and power equals price. There have even been cases where similar Lincoln pennies, not necessarily 1977, sold for tens of thousands of dollars due to rare errors. So yes, it is absolutely possible for a 1977 1-cent coin to reach values far beyond what most people expect. Now let's talk about the design. On the front of the coin, you'll see the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design has been used since 1909 and remains one of the most iconic images in American currency. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust." To the left, the word, "Liberty." And to the right, the year, 1977. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of strength, unity, and history. Inside that tiny memorial, if you look closely, you can even see a miniature image of Lincoln sitting inside. It's incredible detail for such a small coin. And here's another fact that many people don't know. These coins are made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which means they actually have a metal value higher than 1 cent. So even as scrap metal, they are worth more than their face value. Now imagine combining that with rarity, condition, and demand. That's how a simple penny becomes a collector's treasure. But here's the truth that many people won't tell you. Not every 1977 penny is worth $1,200. In fact, most are not. Only the rarest, highest quality or error coins reach those high values. So if someone tells you that every 1977 coin is valuable, that's simply not true. But, and this is a big but, if you happen to find one in perfect condition, or with a rare error, you could be holding something truly special. So what should you do if you find one? First, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value dramatically. Second, store it safely. Use a protective holder to avoid scratches. And third, get it checked. Professional grading companies can evaluate your coin and tell you exactly how much it's worth. Because in the world of coin collecting, knowledge is everything. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a coin, not just glanced at it, but really examined it? Because hidden in everyday objects are extraordinary stories, and sometimes hidden value. The 1977 Liberty 1-cent coin is a perfect example of that. A coin that millions ignored. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in the collecting world, the 1984 United States Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. It has the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing special, right? But here's where things start to get interesting. This coin, the 1984 penny without a mint mark, was produced in Philadelphia. And unlike what many viral videos claim, no mint mark itself does not automatically make it rare. In fact, billions of these coins were made. But wait, don't click away. Because the real value, the real treasure, lies in something most people completely overlook: small details, tiny errors, microscopic differences that can turn a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. Now imagine this: you're going through old coins at home. Maybe a jar your grandparents left behind. Or coins from your childhood. And suddenly, you notice something strange about a 1984 penny. The ear of Abraham Lincoln looks doubled, like there's a shadow. Or a second outline. This is known as the famous double ear error. And this tiny mistake has shocked collectors around the world. Because coins with this error have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on condition. Yes, you heard that right. Thousands. In fact, high-grade versions of this error coin have reached prices well beyond $1,200 in the collector market. Now here's the exciting part. Most people don't even know this error exists, which means valuable coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Right now. Maybe even in your pocket. Let's break it down so you don't miss it. First, check the year. It must say 1984. Second, look under the date. If there is no letter like D or S, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. That's what we call no mint mark. And third, the most important step, look very closely at Lincoln's ear. If you see doubling, like two earlobes, congratulations. You might be holding a rare double die coin. And this is exactly where value begins to skyrocket. But wait, not every 1984 no mint mark penny is valuable. In fact, most are only worth a few cents, even in good condition. So what separates a regular coin from a $1,200 coin? 3 key factors: condition, rarity, and error. Let's talk about condition first. Coins are graded on a scale from worn out to perfect mint condition. A coin that looks brand new, shiny, with no scratches, is far more valuable than one that's been in circulation for years. Some nearly perfect 1984 pennies have even sold for thousands just because of their condition alone. Now rarity. Even though billions were made, finding one in perfect condition today is extremely difficult. Time destroys coins. They get scratched, faded, damaged. So surviving high-quality coins become rare. And rarity increases value. Finally, the most powerful factor of all, errors, mistakes made during minting. The U.S. Mint produces millions of coins every day, and sometimes, tiny imperfections slip through. Most are worthless, but some become legends. The 1984 double-ear penny is one of those legends. Collectors hunt for it, dealers pay big money for it, and beginners dream of finding one. Because it proves something powerful. that even the smallest mistake can create massive value. Think about that for a moment. A mistake turned into treasure. Now imagine finding one. You take it to a coin expert. They examine it. They confirm it's genuine. And suddenly, that 1 cent coin becomes worth over $1,200. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins hiding in plain sight, the 1996 United States Liberty 1 cent coin with no mint mark. A coin so common, yet in rare cases, incredibly valuable. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might start checking every coin in your pocket a little more carefully. Let's begin with the basics. The 1996 1 cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Penny series. On the front, you see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been a symbol of American history for decades. On the back, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, representing strength, unity, and legacy. But what makes this coin special is something many people misunderstand: the missing mint mark. Now here's the truth. A 1996 penny with no mint mark is not a mistake. It simply means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In fact, over 6.6 billion of these coins were produced, making it one of the most common pennies ever made. Yes, billions. So you might be thinking, how could something so common be worth serious money? Well, that's where things get interesting. Most 1996 pennies you find today are only worth their face value, just 1 cent. Even slightly better coins might sell for a few cents to $1. But hidden among these billions of coins are a few extremely rare examples that collectors are willing to pay big money for. And when I say big money, I mean values starting from around $1,200 and going up to $2,500 or more. Yes, for a single penny. So what separates a normal penny from a $1,000 treasure? It all comes down to three powerful factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's break them down. First, condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. Most pennies go through years of wear, scratches, dirt, fading, and damage. These are called circulated coins. But if a 1996 penny has never been used, if it looks shiny, bright, and almost brand new, it is considered uncirculated. And here's the key: high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS-68 or higher, are extremely rare. In fact, one such coin sold for around $2,500 at auction. Why? Because finding a perfect coin from a year when billions were made is incredibly difficult. Second, color and appearance. Collectors love what is called red pennies. When a coin is freshly minted, it has a bright copper-red shine. Over time, that color fades into brown. But if a 1996 penny still has that original red glow, it becomes far more valuable. That shiny red finish can be the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth hundreds or even thousands. Third, and this is where things get really exciting: errors. Error coins are like hidden secrets created during the minting process. Small mistakes that turn ordinary coins into collector gold. For the 1996 penny, some of the most valuable errors include double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated off-center strikes, where the coin design is misaligned close AM varieties, subtle spacing differences in the lettering and strike-through errors caused by debris during minting. Some of these rare error coins have been valued anywhere from hundreds to over $2,000 depending on condition and uniqueness. And here's the exciting part: most people don't even notice these details, which means valuable coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered. Now let's talk about the myth that's all over the internet. You may have seen videos claiming that any 1996 penny with no mint mark is automatically worth thousands of dollars. That is simply not true. Remember, no mint mark just means Philadelphia. And billions were made. The real value comes only when the coin is in exceptional condition, or has a rare error. So if you find one, don't assume it's valuable right away. Instead, inspect it carefully. Here's what you should look for: check the surface. Is it shiny or worn? Look at the details. Are Lincoln's features sharp and clear? Examine the lettering. Any doubling or unusual spacing? Check for damage. Scratches can reduce value, and most importantly, compare it with verified high value. Examples: if your coin looks unusually perfect or unique, it might be worth getting professionally graded. And here's something that might surprise you: even though billions of these coins exist, very few survive in perfect condition. That's because the 1996 penny is made from copper-plated zinc, a material that easily wears and deteriorates over time. So while the coin itself is common, perfect examples are extremely rare, and rarity is what drives value. Imagine this: you're going through old coins at home, or checking loose change, and suddenly, you spot a 1996 penny that looks almost brand new, bright, sharp, flawless. That small moment could turn into a discovery worth over $1,200. That's the magic of coin collecting. But beyond the money, there's something deeper. Every coin tells a story. The 1996 penny represents a moment in history, a piece of everyday life, a symbol of a nation's economy and identity. It passed through countless hands, across cities, across years, and now it could be sitting right in your pocket. So next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Don't toss it aside. Take a closer look.